from the city of brotherly love, from the Philadelphia Union, CJ Sapong. CJ, welcome again, my friend.
Hey man, how you doing?
How you doing, my friend? First and foremost, you took a knock a few weeks ago. I was thinking about you. How's it going health-wise, first and foremost, CJ?
Man, it's been very wonderful as of late. Went through a little bit of a dark phase, a little rough patch, but the beauty of that is there's always the other side, and that's where I'm at right now, so feeling pretty good.
And that's great to hear that, and there's a lot of people out there that were thinking about you, and we're great to see you back out there, unfortunately, on the losing end on the weekend. We'll get to the game coming up against TFC, but CJ, I want to talk to you first and foremost. In the first part of our show, we dedicated to talking about the big game tomorrow night in Montreal, the impact against Club America, a historic game in Canada, in Montreal, and for MLS. Will you, CJ Sapong, be watching this game, and will you be cheering on the impact?
Of course. This is a big game for not only the impact and the league, but this is for soccer in America. This is going to put us on a stage that'll definitely now start to see the league get the respect it deserves.
I mean, it's an important day not only for Canada, Montreal, but MLS, as you said, CJ, because, look, if Montreal gets the result tomorrow night, they will be playing in the club championships, and it could be unbelievably against a squad like Real Madrid. That would be unbelievable to see an MLS squad against a Real Madrid.
Yes, exactly. And, it would take it a step further beyond the friendlies that we do every summer. That is kind of just a friendly, and people kind of don't really look two ways at it. This would be something that they worked hard to get to, and would have some hardware under their belt as well. And again, it's a big step.
CJ, let's talk about the transition. You came over from Sporting Kansas City, where they are a club that expects, demands wins. They want success year in and year out, and they have many, many weapons still down there. You make your way over here to Philadelphia Union, and they want you to be the man. They expect you to be the man to put the ball in the back of the net. Talk about that pressure. Talk about the responsibility you have to lead this squad, hopefully, into the playoffs this year.
It's actually interesting you asked that question. I had some fruitful conversations in the locker room today, and I'm blessed to be at the position of my career where, I welcome the pressure, and it's something that I use as an individual measure. We all, as athletes and people as well, we have things we want to accomplish, and, luckily I'm at the point where now I'm zeroing in on how I need to be internally and how I have to set things up around me externally to make that happen. So it's actually a challenge that I welcome with open arms, and I'm actually interested in seeing how I, the team, the organization, deal with the adversity.
CJ, Philadelphia, I don't need to tell you, is a great sports city. Baseball, football, hockey, obviously the Union. They demand hard-working teams. They demand results, and they want it. They are passionate fans. Talk about playing in front of these fans early on this season.
Oh, yeah, this is something I knew before I got here. Every trip that I've made to the Union Stadium, on the opposition, was always one that came with a lot of words and a lot of obscenities. But I will say, being on the other side now, it's something that I start to appreciate, and I got to see a little bit deeper of, what is really behind that. On the other side, it's hard to see the love and the support. Maybe you see the nasty side of things, but when you get to talk to these people, every other day, or whether it's after a game or at an appearance, you really see the passion. And I mean, I really tip my hat to them, because it's got to be very tough to, throw everything you can into a team, and not have the results show for it, but then to still be able to show up in full force that next game and show even more support. I definitely tip my hat to these fans, and it's a blessing and a pleasure to play under them.
You know, CJ, and the quality is on the squad. The talent is there. You look at the back with Gaddis and Canadian Steven Vittoria. Then you look at Moedu, world-class player. And you guys need to put it all together and put a few wins together to really get that confidence going, because it's just too much talent and too many, veterans on this team to let you guys fall back like in years past on this squad.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's something that at least we now know everybody is well aware of that. Sometimes in the first couple games, people are still maybe a little hungover from the off season or the preseason, and maybe they don't realize what's at stake, in its fullest picture. But now we're at the point where individual egos and insecurities are getting tested. And honestly, I obviously don't like being in this position, one win in 9 games. But we're at a position where character is really going to be tested and going to be proven as well. And this is where we're going to start to, separate ourselves from boys and men. It's finding that individual inspiration or motivation, that fire, that spark. Because the effort is there, it hasn't been there every game, but as of late we've been putting forth the effort. Now it's just desire to want to win, desire to work for the person next to you.
And you know what, CJ, listening to you speak like that comes from Sporting Kansas City, the winning tradition, the culture, the atmosphere, the identity. And I think that's what you have brought to Philly in the locker room, on the field. And it is important, I believe, that this gets rubbed off on some of the other younger guys so they understand what it takes to win on and off the field, what it takes to get to that next level, because you've seen it, you've experienced it, and now you know what it is, and you've brought that over here, and you want to show the Union and their players this is what it has to be like.
Exactly, and everybody at some form on this team has had some type of success in their career, and sometimes if that's not a memory that you can draw from, or a memory that's not that recent, you forget it, or you get used to whatever environment you're now in. And that goes back to that inspiration and that motivation. I've been blessed enough, for the last couple of seasons to be on a winning team and play in big games. But now, again, it's going to be a test for me as well, as getting a group of guys that, I'm still new. Obviously, I would say that the effort that I've put in since I've been here has garnered some respect from my teammates, but I personally want to get to the level of where I have guys all around me that are willing to lead, follow, stand next to me, whatever it may be to get a W.
Massive game against TFC coming up. Massive points on the table for both squads. We know that both squads have yet to make a playoff appearance. TFC struggled early on their road trip, picking up a win now against Orlando. Jovinko coming to your city of Philly with Bradley and Josie Altador, two U.S. internationals. Bradley, who had an unbelievable game against Kakan Orlando, and now right now, you and TFC are on a collision course to make sure that either one of you get a win or stay away from that loss column, because looking ahead, there's going to be more and more challenges. Talk about this challenge against TFC coming.
Well, this challenge is just the very next one, the way I think we should look at it, because you don't want to get too narrow-sighted and start, only putting the emphasis on their great players, all the good things they do. This is about us now. This is about our own performances. Coach Curtin said something interesting today at training, whereas it's not even about results anymore for us. It's about performance and finding that identity and that will to execute, whatever our game plan is for the entire game. So I welcome the challenge. I look forward to it. It will be a pretty exciting game as well. And it's in our home stadium, and I think we need to use all those things to our advantage.
No, CJ, just before we let you go, as we did the last time you were on our show, we want you to talk to the youngsters out there. The youngsters that want to live the dream like CJ Sapong is living, playing professional soccer, staying in some of the best hotels, eating in some of the best restaurants, traveling, getting a paycheck for playing the game you love. There's a lot of youngsters that want to get to where you're at, and there's a lot of youngsters that unfortunately are under the guidance of coaches at very young ages that want to win at all costs, that $2 medal, that $2 trophy, and really lose the sight of what it's all about, which is developing and help nurturing this young man. Talk to these young players out there, CJ. What do they need to do if they're struggling confidence-wise? Maybe if their coach hasn't shown it to them. Or if they have that confidence, what do they need to do more to get to where you're at?
Yes, great question. That's one where I say that it starts with the individual. No matter what your age, what level of soccer you're playing at, you need to have a pride in the game, one, and you have to have that desire to master your skills. You know, you got to put in time off the field. Everybody will get in a situation at some point where they're playing with a player that hinders their growth or a coach that hinders their growth. At the end of the day, when you focus on things you can't control, which is you're the betterment of yourself, you know, off the field, these are things that nobody else can take away from you, you know. And then once you do get on the field, you see all the you know, another thing in the professional realm, and even before you become professional, is you will face adversity. You will face environments that are not set up for you to succeed. But if you are doing the things you need to do individually and on your own, that's where the greatness comes out of you, and you will be able to overcome.
CJ, God bless, health and happiness. Good luck the rest of the way, hopefully to a playoff date for you and your squad. We really appreciate you making the time to join us once again. And when you're making your way up here to Toronto, I will make sure to make my way down to the dressing rooms to say hello, because you've been a class act. You've been a gentleman to our show in the last couple of years. So we want to thank you. And again, good luck on the weekend and good luck the rest of the way, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. CJ Sapong, what a great athlete, what a great person.